Okay, good day everyone. This is Total Investor here on the YouTube channel. And what we normally do is review investment opportunities for traders and investors. Today, I want to look at the cryptocurrencies, which, as you may know, have really taken a big hit over the last 24 hours. I'm just going to look at the main, or four of the big ones. First one that we'll look at is Bitcoin, BTC, and that's versus the US dollar. From the highs, we're off about 20% to the lows. They have bounced off from that. We did find support at around 52,000, give or take. And again, that just varies depending on which exchange you're looking at. It has bounced back up, but we can see that the RSI is still below 50. Not a good sign. It's trading below the 10-day single moving average. And it just found just slightly above the 50-day. That's pretty much the only positive that I see here on this chart. And down here, the ADX line, the DIs have crossed into negative territory, and that is another negative. So we will see whether this holds. It is looking somewhat positive, very short term. But I'd like to see, how it closes and what the reaction is tomorrow. The next one is Ethereum ETH versus the US dollar. Again, we see a 20% correction from the high to the bounce off the bottom. I believe it just bounced off at around 1950. Again, as I said before, it just varies on which exchange that we're talking about. This one does seem to be a little bit better than Bitcoin because it has found support here. If you notice, it reached the top here. This is going back to late February, where we're showing that it experienced resistance here, and that became support back in early April, and again support today. So resistance became support. That's a positive. The negatives are that, although the RSI is still above 50, it's moving down. It's trading below the 10-day. It's still above the 50. And we have, again, mixed signals here because the ADX line peaked and just fell off. However, the DI lines have still not crossed into bearish. So we're getting mixed signals here on the ETH. Hopefully, tomorrow it will still hold the 1950 or the 2000 level. Next is BNB, and again that's versus the US dollar. This one is the one that has corrected even more from the highs. It has a lot more to go before we find some kind of support. We're off about 30% from the highs. If you notice, the RSI topped out and it has made a lower high from the previous high, even though the price of the coin has actually made a higher high. Okay, that's not what you want to see because that's a bearish divergence. We are currently below the 10-day moving average. Above the 50, so that's good. And we have a little bit of a correction here on the ADX. It has fallen. That's not good. But we're still positive on the DIs. They have not crossed. They're still in positive territory. So this one looks like it still has more work to do before we see some kind of support and hopefully a bounce. And finally, the last one that I'm going to look at is Ripple XRP. This one has corrected about 40% from the recent high to today's bottom. This one is probably the worst out of all of the four that I'm discussing here, just simply because it has a lot more room to correct and to find some area of support. Below the 10-day, from the bottom, we're just trading above that right now. A lot more room to get down to the 50 days, 50-day moving average. I think that we could probably find support maybe at around $1 in that range, and then 80. Hopefully it doesn't quite get to that level, but again, it's got to prove itself. RSI is still above 50. That's still good, but it's not trending in the right direction. It's moving down. We've got the ADX line that has topped out. I believe that was yesterday, and so that's not good. But we still have the DI lines in positive territory. So again, the best ones was the first one, Bitcoin, Ethereum. Then we had BNB, and finally the worst of the bunch is XRP. Now that doesn't mean that it doesn't have the opportunity to move higher. It can. It's just that I'm saying the chart pattern is the worst of the bunch. Okay, and all this happened just during less than 24 hours ago. There was some selling, and it just kept on going. And there was rumor that about just under 1 million accounts were liquidated, forced liquidated, simply because they were over margined, over leveraged. They got stopped out, and it just fed on itself. And this will be a correction that will be talked about. I can assure you of that. And a lot of people are learning their lesson. Don't be over leveraged. Don't over trade. And hopefully they will learn something from that. If you have any questions down below in the comments section, I'd love to hear from you. If you think that it deserves a big thumbs up, please do so. Also, if you have a social media account, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, whatever, you're on there, you're active, why not help promote this video and this channel, if you will? Embed it, promote it through those websites, and hopefully we'll go somewhere with this channel. And also, please subscribe. And with that, I will see you in the next video. Thank you.